everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome to our new playthrough, which is Eldritch Horror, Signs of Carcosa, where we will be taking on the Ancient One, who has the unspeakable name that I'm going to just say right out, which is Hastur. So we're going to be taking Hastur on. So let's get on with the setup. Should be a bit quicker this year. You all know the drill now about setting up Eldritch Horror. If you don't, if this is the first video of mine that you've actually come across for Eldritch Horror, I would recommend starting at the beginning with the Azathoth video, because I'll go through the introduction and the setup in a lot more detail. But as it stands, let's crack on with the good old Hastur and the Signs of Carcosa. So, setup. First of all, we place the game board. Here it is. We're not actually using any of the sideboards for this. We're just going to use the base game board. After that, we have to organise our tokens. So, first of all, we create a gate stack. So, here are all the gates. So, we'll just give them a minor shuffle around. And set the Prelude out of the way. And then we'll... Right, there's a few. We'll get a few small piles. Various different ones. 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just go those on there. Them on there. And those on top of there. So there we go. We have our gate stack. This gate stack doesn't have any of the expansion board gates on, so there's no Cairo or Alexandria or Miskatonic Outpost or any of that. It's just the gates that appear on the base board. We've got to create the clue pool. Similarly to the gates, none of the clues that relate to expansion boards are included, and I've put them in this little dice bag. So they're all there, they're all in there, he says, as one flies out. But it's just a lot easier to use a little dice bag. So use this little linen bag with good old Cthulhu on the front, embracing an elder sign. So doesn't it look lovely? So that's our clue bag. So that's all set up. We've created a general token pool. It's just in a Plano box. You might be able to see just the corner of it there. So everything is in that Plano box. Then we're going to choose and place investigators. What I'm going to do, because I'm taking you through Signs of Carcosa, we're going to use the 4 investigators that actually came with the Signs of Carcosa expansion. So we've got Jenny Barnes, who's here. She starts in the Caribbean on Space 8. We've got Michael McGlenn, who's in London. Then we have Wendy Adams, who's up here in Eastern Russia on Space 16. And last but not least, we've got good old Dexter Drake, the magician. He's down here at Tokyo. Now, I'll go through the investigators and their assets and all the rest of it and their abilities at a bit later on. We'll continue the setup and then I'll go through the investigators last. And I can take you through all their backstories, and they can also pick any of their like clues and stuff like that if they have to as part of their setup. So moving past them, we get on to determining the Ancient One. Well, this is dead easy because we're going to pick Hastur. Here he is. So let's have a look at Hastur, shall we? So yes, he's a bit of a mean mother. He's got 11 doom, and he's a nasty piece of work. Just look at him. Nasty, nasty. Now, his cultists, they have sanity there. So, you've got 1 sanity if you fail a sanity check. They've got 1 toughness. You've got -1 on your strength roll against his cultists. And if you fail, you will take 1 damage. On a reckoning, so they've got a reckoning. The cultist summons a Bayaki. A Bayaki monster ambushes an investigator on this space or an adjacent space. So that's important to remember when we go down. And as part of setup, we have to set aside 1 Bayaki monster and all the Hastur special encounters. So we've done that. So here's the Bayaki monster. So I've took it out of the monster bag. And all the special encounters are in all the card holders that you just can't see. Right, we've got instructions on how to set up the Mythos deck, which I will do later on at stage 8 of the setup. But what's important to notice is, you've seen stage 1, we get no green cards. We get 2 yellow ones and 2 blue ones. The blue ones are rumours. So in the first 4 cards, we're going to get 2 rumours. Hastur is a beast. But another good thing to notice though, if you add them all up, all the Mythos cards, there are actually 17 Mythos cards. Normally it's around 13 to 15, but he's got 17. So if you're going to survive his initial assault, hopefully, then you get no more rumours and you've got a bit more of a chance. But it's going to be a bad start. Right, let's read a bit more about him. Hastur, the unspeakable one, and I will just speak about his name all the time, so don't worry about that. When 2 mysteries have been solved, investigators win the game. Now normally it's 3 mysteries. So why is it 2? Is he easy? No, he isn't. It's only 2 mysteries because he's such a pig. So we're really going to have to be awake on this one. He's going to be a real tough mother, and we're going to have to try and take him down. Good news, only 2 mysteries, but there is lots of other stuff that he generates that that's going to cause us plenty of problems. When Hastur awakens, flip this sheet and resolve the Hastur awakens effect on the back. We'll do that at such time as he wakes up. So we'll have a look at that. So, and he's got a reckoning effect. So, investigators as a group lose sanity equal to the number of gates on the game board unless the lead investigator gains a blight condition. Now, we're really going to have to look after the gates on this, because if the gates get out of hand, then it's a real problem. This is one of the reasons why it's only 2 mysteries. Normally, you can sort of park the gates a bit. You can't let them get too out of hand in a normal game, but you definitely cannot let them get out of hand in a game against Hastur, because blight conditions are nasty. Plus, you don't want to be losing sanity against Hastur. There's just loads and loads of opportunities for you to lose sanity against Hastur because of the King in Yellow and the play and everything. It's all based around insanity. So you want to protect your sanity as much as possible. So this reckoning, not nice. Right, and a little bit of flavour text. Far from Earth, beneath the star of Aldebaran, the unspeakable one sleeps imprisoned within the core of one of the dark stars of the Hyades. Trapped there in a war long forgotten, he dreams of escaping to exact his terrible will upon the cosmos. Bah ha ha ha. So, that's Hastur. So we'll pop him up here, and I'll also take the buyer key, pop him up here, just in case we need him when a cultist comes out. As part of picking Hastur, we're also going to do a prelude. There are several preludes, but I thought I'd go with the obvious one, and why not? So you are allowed to pick your preludes if you wish. So I've picked the King in Yellow. 116 die in a theatre fire. You frown at the headline. The photograph shows a smouldering remains of the once popular playhouse. You ignore the feeling in your gut and scan the article, hoping against hope that it is not what you think. No mention. Good. To your dismay, your relief is cut short. There, in the picture, on a piece of wood that escaped the fire, the yellow sign. Baha! So, before step 8 of the setup, which is building the Mythos deck, set aside the King in Yellow Rumour Mythos card. This is the King in Yellow Rumour Mythos card that we're going to set aside. So this is sort of like the bit of good stuff that you get from the prelude. You get some good stuff, you get some bad stuff. After resolving setup, if Hastur is the ancient one, and he is, spawn a number of gates as indicated by the reference card unless the lead investigator gains a blight condition. So straight away, it is giving us the option of a blight condition. So we'll deal with that when we get to step 8. And then we just return the king in yellow to the game box. So we're not actually going to get this Mythos card, but I'll keep it with the Prelude. Right, so that's the Prelude that we're going with. Put that over here as well. Next up, we've got to create the Monster Cup. And I've got a new Monster Cup. This is a new Monster Cup. It's another bag. I got a new bag because the old one, it was like a sort of velvety thing, but it's getting a bit moth-eaten, man. So I thought I'd treat myself to a new one. So I got a nicer sort of fabric one. So very nice. Very pleased with it. So nice grey thing. I did try and get, there is one, a yellow sign one, but they'd sold out. So I went for the elder sign one instead. So there we go. Give it a bit of a shake. And all the monsters are in our lovely new elder sign bag. So we'll put that over here. Ready to be drawn. Excellent. So that's the Monster Cup. There are no epic monsters in the Monster Cup as usual. They're just drawn on request generally. You'll get a card or something horrible will happen. Like some mystery or something will say, put this epic monster on the board. So they're all separate. And we've got to separate and place our decks. So all the research encounters and everything, all this sort of stuff that are specific to Hastur. So there's them, there's the mystery cards, and there is, there's these as well. I've got all the king in yellow ones. So all these, we'll keep them to one side. Excellent. Right, so we've separated all the other cards as well. So everything that came with Signs of Carcosa, I've added the additional sort of, you know, everything from location decks to assets to relics. All that sort of stuff has all been added in, and it's all been shuffled. But as I did in my last playthrough, A Touch of Evil, what I will do is before I draw any card, I will shuffle the deck. You don't have to shuffle every deck. I'm just doing it just so, well, there's one deck I won't be able to shuffle, that's the Mythos deck, because it's meant to go in order. But all the other decks I'll shuffle, just to show that it's a completely random draw. So if you see that and you're wondering what the hell I'm shuffling a deck for, that's the reason. So we've done all the decks. We've set aside the Mythos cards, so we've got blue, yellow, green. So that's pretty cool. And now we come to building the Mythos deck. So the Mythos deck for Hastur is stage 1, we have 2 yellow and 2 blue. So these are the yellow ones for stage 1. As I said, we'll do a quick shuffle. The only one that's been took out is a blue card, which is for the king in yellow, as per the instructions for Hastur. So we've got 1, 2. This is the blue deck. Give this a shuffle. We get our horrible 2 rumours. 1, 2. And mix all those up. So that is stage 1. Stage 2 is 2 green and 3 yellow, I think. Yes, that's right. So let's give the green deck a shuffle. So 1, 2. Whoop. This has already been shuffled, but we'll give it a cut. Yeah, and 1, 2, 3. Mix mix all these together. Stage 2, and our final stage is 5 yellow and 3 green. Let's pick 3 green out. 1, 2, 3, and 5 yellow. Another cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mix these up. Right, there we go. So stage 1, stage 2 on the bottom of that, and stage 3. So we have our Mythos deck of 17 cards. Let's put those there. Could get rid of these now, put them off to one side. And that is the Mythos deck done. Now we resolve our starting effects. So first of all, we've got the reference card for 4 players because we're using 4 investigators. So we've done that. And then we place the Doom token. If you remember, Hastur had a Doom of 11. So the Doom token here, I've just stuck it on a little stand. So that is at 11 up here. So that's set up. We've placed the Omen token. So the little circle, it's on the green comment up there on the right hand side. So that's in place. And now we've got to fill up the asset reserve. So here's the asset deck. So we'll give this a shuffle as well. Again, all the assets that came with signs of Carcosa have gone in here. I haven't took anything out. So all the assets available in the game are in here. Of which you can see there's now quite a few. Let's do a cut. Right, so let's see what our first 4 are. First of all, a secret page. Item tome. Gain 1 law when resolving spell effects. When you gain this card from the deck or reserve, gain 1 spell. Excellent. So, secret page goes down. Next, we have the King James Bible. I think I've had this before, I think it's pretty good. Item tome. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a law test, or is that a will test, during a combat encounter. When you perform a rest action, recover 1 additional sanity. Cool. Yes, it is will. That's good because you get sanity back. As I mentioned, Hastur's a bit of a pig about taking sanity, so that'll be really useful. That'll be another useful one to have. Next. Oh, always nice to get a gun. A .45 Colt revolver, item weapon. Once per round you may gain +3 strength during a combat encounter. Brilliant. So that goes in there. And our final card for the reserve. Ooh, a .32 Colt pocket. Another weapon. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. So good. Not only do you get an extra strength, but, well, an extra strength die, you can re-roll as well. Brilliant. So, not bad. Not a bad start. Put these back up here in the card holder. And that is the reserve done. Okay, spawn the number of gates indicated on the reference card. Well, the reference card indicates 1 gate. So here we are. Here's our gate, and we get Tunguska, which is, oh, that's a bit of a pain. It's a pain because it's right out of the way. But it is what it is. So let's get a stand for that. Let's go purple. Let's go purple stands for gates. So there we go. We've got Tunguska up here. Let's move the expedition deck out of the way. So we've got Tunguska. What happens when we put a gate on the board? That's right, we get a monster. So here's the monster bag. And let's pull one out. And we get a Leng spider. I have a feeling these are beasts. Well, they're insect. Well, they're arachnids, but you know what I mean. So that's the Leng spider. Nasty. Yeah, 3 toughness. Ugh. And if you fail the will test, do not resolve the strength test, and you do not resolve any other encounters this round, that's sort of like getting caught in its web. These are difficult. These are difficult too. And -1 on the strength test as well. Oh, we could have picked something better. So there it goes. Put it on a green stand. Up at Tunguska. Weaving its webs. I was going to say it's a bit out of the way, Tunguska, but Wendy Adams is right next to it. But we'll go through that when we go through the investigators. So perhaps it's not as out of the way as I thought it was. Right. So we've done that. Right, now we've got to place the active expedition token on the space that corresponds to the top of the deck. So we've got the deck here. We'll give it a shuffle. So there we go, and we'll do a cut, and whatever's on the top is where that expedition token's going to go. And is that Tunguska or is that Antarctica? It's Tunguska again. Tunguska is going to be very popular. So Tunguska is the spot where that's going. It is just all going on in Tunguska. Right, so got a gate, a Leng spider and an expedition there. It is all going off in Siberian Russia. Right, so we've done that. And spawn the number of clues indicated on the reference card. We are going to spawn, I think it's 2. Let me just check. It is 2. Where did we put our clue bag? Here's our clue bag. Oh, in fact, what we're going to do first is, because it is step 4, Wendy Adams actually starts with a clue. So we'll pick her clue first, because she would have got her clue before we actually get to this stage of the setup. So Wendy Adams' clue is coming out first. So that's 4, which looks like Anchorage, Alaska. So that's the clue that she starts with. And we'll draw the other 2 as per the reference card. The first one is Antarctica. So we've got a clue in Antarctica. And the next one is Istanbul. So we've got a clue in Istanbul. Right, let's put that over there. Right. Finally, we've got to draw a mystery card and place it near the Ancient One sheet. So these are the mystery cards. I'm bloody shuffling, I'm doing it off camera. Go! Right, so I haven't read any of these, so these will be completely new to me. Right, what's our first mystery? Spawn of Hastur. This doesn't sound good. That sounds like an epic monster to me. To gaze upon the progeny of the unspeakable one is to invite into your very core the exact darkness which you mean to defeat. No being, no matter how pure, can escape Hastur's shadowy caress unmarred. When this card enters play, spawn 1 gate. Brilliant. Then spawn the spawn of Hastur epic monster on that space. At the end of the Mythos phase, if the spawn of Hastur epic monster has been defeated, solve this mystery. Oh, right, we've got to draw a gate and another monster. Right, I think we only spawn the spawn of Hastur is the monster for that space. I don't think we spawn 2. And where's the spawn of Hastur gonna go? Bloody Antarctica, miles away. Bloody typical. And we've got 2 gates open already. At least the Tunguska gate is green. We're already on green, so that's a while for it to go back. But Antarctica's a problem because it's a blue constellation. So down there, there's a clue down there, but there's also some horrendous monster. Right, leave it a second. I've just got to go through all the epic monsters. Won't be a sec. Okay, let's have a look at him. This is him, the spawn of Hastur. He's in the process of eating somebody on the boat by the look of it, something like that. So let's have a look at the back. Obviously he's got special toughness. See that at the bottom here. So will check, -1 on it. Strength test is -1 on it. You lose 3. You can lose 3 sanity. You can lose 2 health. This epic monster would lose 2 or more health. It loses 1 health instead, so it'll only lose 1 health. Oh, so you're gonna have to fight it like loads of times. It only loses 1 health instead. Oh, toughness is equal to Investigators +2, so it's got a toughness of 6. It's got a toughness of 6, and we can only take 1 health off it at a time. Oh, let me get rid of... Let me put this over here. The expedition deck. Right, let's put that in the card holder. Right, so this this doesn't seem very good. So it's got pretty grim, and we haven't even got to the Investigators yet. So we've got an epic monster mystery that is gonna. We've got to defeat it because it's a mystery. So until we defeat this mystery, we're not going to get another mystery. So we're going to have to find some way to try and kill it. We've got to get somebody down there who's got to sort of fight it for 6 turns. I'll have to look into that, see if there is any way of like killing it a bit quicker. But oh, that's bad. Right, so that is very bad. So that's the mystery sorted out, and I think that is the end of the setup as regards the board and that sort of stuff. Let's pop across. Let's have a let's visit our poor unfortunate investigators who are right up against it right from the get-go. Won't be a second. And here we are with the investigators. So let's take a look. Our first player is going to be Michael McGlenn, for no better reason than he was first out of the packet. So let's take a look at Michael, the gangster. So his special actions are: if you are on a city space, you may gain 1 item or service asset of your choice from the reserve. If you do, gain a wanted condition. So basically he just steals it. So good old Michael, gangster, we like him already. Other action: once per round you may re-roll 1 die when resolving a deal or pursuit condition effect. Well, that's good. So he's pretty good at getting out of deals and shaking off pursuit. Excellent. He's got brilliant health of 8, but his sanity, his sanity is nothing to shout about. It's only a 4, so that's pretty bad. Law 2, okay. Influence 3, that's not bad. Obviously has some friends, you know what I mean. Observation 1, not so good. Strength 4, brilliant. Groin puncher. And his will of 3. At least his will of 3 does sort of offset his poor sanity. So, not bad, not bad. So, but an 8 and a 4 against Hastur. Oh, I think we'll struggle with him. But let's flip him over. Right, he starts in London, so I've put him in London on the board. And he does get a Tommy gun asset. So let's have a look at that. I've already pulled this out. Let's take a closer look. Tommy gun, item weapon. Gain +4 strength during combat encounters. Guess who's going down to Antarctica? That's right. Put your coat on, Michael. So that's the Tommy gun. So what else do we have? Right, let's read his background. When the O'Banian gang needs to send a message, they send the big man, Michael McGlenn. Not long ago, his friend, Fast Louis Farrell, was attacked by a bunch of inhuman things with ugly fish-like faces. They sliced him up and dragged him under the water. McGlenn took it personally. The word has spread. McGlenn has loaded up his Thompson, and everyone else had best get out of his way. His first stop is London, where he intends to find out what these creatures are called, and where he has to go to kill every last one of them. Michael, you're a man after my own heart. So that's Michael McGlenn, and his Tommy gun. Let's have a bit of a close-up on him. Yeah, you dirty rad. Cool. Right, so that's Michael, and he's all ready to go and kill things. Next up, we have Jenny Barnes. So let's have a look at Jenny. Here is Jenny. Jenny Barnes, the dilettante. Her actions. You or another investigator on a city space may perform an acquire assets action and gain +2 influence during that action. Brilliant. That is really good. Once per round, when you or another investigator gains a debt condition, that investigator may discard that condition. Woohoo! My sister was taken. I will pay any amount to save her. So she's got 7 health and 5 sanity. Again, the sanity's a little bit low, but we'll see how we go on. She's got a Law of 1, appalling. Influence 4, which is excellent. Observation 2, not so bad. Strength 3, which is good, and a Will 3, which is good. So another groin puncher here by the look of it, and a bit of a supercharged Charlie Kane with this influence and this action. So hopefully we'll be able to hoover up quite a lot of assets. I did read on BGG that she's considered a bit OP, but we'll find out. We'll see. So she looks pretty mean, packing heat. Right, let's flip her over. So we've got Jenny Barnes. She starts in the Caribbean, Space 8. She has a .25 automatic, some fine jewellery, and a ship ticket. Let's just take a quick look at those. So, ship ticket, you've all seen one of these before, so that's fine. And let's have a look at these assets. So she's got the .25 automatic. Item, weapon. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a strength test during a combat encounter. Not bad. And the fine jewellery. You may add 1 to the result of 1 die when performing an influence test during an acquire assets action. So basically she's an asset gathering machine, but she can also shoot people. So cool. Put those back. And get back to her card. So she's very well connected, and she's got a lot of influence, and she packs heat. So that is good. Born to wealth and privilege, Jenny has spent most of her young life in the most fashionable nightclubs around the world. But her life of decadence came to an abrupt halt when she received an ominous letter from her sister Isabel. In the letter, Isabel reported being followed by a mysterious man wearing hoods and robes. Mysterious men wearing hoods and robes. When Jenny investigated, she learned that her sister had been kidnapped to an island in the Caribbean. Jenny will use her wealth and international connections to find Isabel and punish the men who took her. Quite right too. So that's Jenny Barnes, the beautiful Jenny, not taking any prisoners. Fabulous. So we'll put her there. Ship ticket. Good stuff. Righto, next is Wendy Adams. We've already picked up a clue for her. As you will see, it is part of her setup. So here is Wendy. Very waif-like, I'm sure you will agree. So, Wendy Adams, the urchin. Action. Gain one trinket asset of your choice from the reserve or discard pile. Discard pile as well. Good. Once per round, if you would gain a non-deal condition or an impairment token, you may choose not to gain that condition or impairment token instead. That's good. The little things are important. Grown-ups don't see that. No, they don't, Wendy. So she's got 5 health and 7 sanity. So she's got a good sanity score. Cool. Her law is 3. That's good. Her influence is 1, which is bad. But with Jenny's special ability, that's not as bad as it might be, because you can get +2, can't you? So that's not bad at all. Observation 4 is excellent. Strength 2 is okay, and a will of 3 is good. She looks like she may be a bit of a spellcaster to me. So cool. Spellcaster come gate closer. She'll be good for sneaking around and everything. So that's pretty good. Right, let's flick her over. So she starts in Eastern Russia, space 16, which is right next to Tunguska. So that was a stroke of luck. She got a clue, as I mentioned, and she also gets an elusive condition. So let's get that. I split my condition deck up. Like, you can have it all together and you get like some massive pile about this big. But I split it by, like here, talent. So these are all talents and deals and, you know, boons and banes. That's how I split them. It's just easier for me to find them that way. So I know that elusive is a talent. So, and there are, I think it's a couple. I think there's 2 or 3. So, whoop. So we'll give it a shuffle, and then just the first one that we get to, that's Skullduggery, that's Martial Prowess, that's Resilient, that's Headstrong, that's Headstrong as well. I think I put them in here. Skullduggery, perhaps I didn't put them in here. Elusive, so this is the one we pick. The reason I'm picking it like that is they do have different backs. So one back might be slightly better than another. So the ones we're not taking, I'll put back in the card holder. So this is her elusive condition. Let's have a read. Talent. During the encounter phase, you may test observation. Remember, her observation was 4, so that's pretty good. If you pass, you may choose an encounter as if there are no monsters on your space. Brilliant. So you can go to somewhere, perhaps you will be a gate closer. Yeah? Because normally you've got to fight monsters and stuff on the space, but she can test observation and try and give them the slip. So she might be really good at closing gates. So that's a good condition to have. Put that down here, and we'll read her backstory. As far as the state was concerned, Wendy had to be placed in an orphanage. Her father was gone and her mother was insane. But Wendy knew that her mother drew sigils and chanted to hide from the nightmares that took Wendy's father. So long as she was in an orphanage, Wendy knew she was vulnerable. The only way to find her father and keep herself safe was to escape. She has one photo of her father taken in a factory where the signs are in Russian. On the back is the message, "Soon the red tide rises. Stay safe, my little girl." So that's Wendy Adams on a search for a father. Let's try and do it for her kids. So she goes into there. She's got a clue, and she's got her elusive condition. Okay, who's our final investigator? It's good old Dexter Drake, the magician. Look at him, very suave, very dapper. Let's have a read. Dexter Drake, the magician. let's have a look at his actions. Move one monster from your space to another space containing a gate. Cool. So we can move monsters around. Once per round, when you gain a spell, you may gain one additional spell. Could be very useful. Do not be afraid. I've spent my entire life doing the impossible. Good lad. So, similar to Wendy, he's got 5 stamina and 7 sanity. So, again, looks like a bit more of a spellcaster than a groin puncher. His law is excellent at 4, as you might expect. His influence is 2. Again, that's going to be pretty good. With Jenny's ability, observation of 2's fine. His strength of 2's okay. And his will of 3. That will be excellent for casting spells and avoiding sanity loss. Cool. Dexter. Let's flip him over. Right, he starts in Tokyo, Japan. He's got 1 binding spell and 1 arcane assistant asset. Let's take a look. First of all, we'll have a look at the asset, because I dug this out. So, she's an ally. Roll 1 additional die when resolving a law test as part of a spell effect. Brilliant. So, extra dice are always welcome. And next up, we've got to draw a binding spell. Now, similar to that conditioner just drew, they have different backs. So I've got to take the whole lot, and I'll give them a quick shuffle. Shuffle them up a bit, and then we will take off the back till we find our first binding. And that binding, oh, one's flipped over there. And that binding will be the spell he starts with. Right. Okay. So, Watch has spent about 20 minutes trying to find it. So, Banishment, Shroud of Shadow, Arcane Insight, Storm of Spirits, Forced Learning, Intervene, bear with me, Enchanting Grace, Enchant Weapon, Enchanting Grace again, Shroud of Shadow, Instill Bravery, Poison Mist, Mind's Eye, Conjuration, Voice of Ra. I knew this was going to happen. Astral Travel, Alter Fate, Flesh Ward, Plumb the Void, Arcane Insight, Rack, Voice of Ra, Shroud of Shadow, Storm of Spirits, Summon Byakhee, Healing Words, is it? Healing Words, Rack again, another one that's flicked over, Feed the Mind, Mists of Relay, Conjuration. This is fun, isn't it? Clairvoyance, Shriveling, Feed the Mind. We're just going through the deck. Plumb the Void, Conjuration, Binding. At last. About halfway through the deck. Well, actually, it shows how big the deck is. It's only about a third of the way through. Right, so we'll give these another shuffle, and then we will put them where they should be, in the card holder. And a cut. Right. So this is the binding spell he's got. I think there are 3 or 4. So, as I say, they've all got different backs, so we're not allowed to look until we actually flip it. So, incantation. When you or another investigator on any space resolves a combat encounter, you may test law. Thank you very much. If you pass, reduce that monster's damage to 1 during that encounter. Then flip this card. Cool. Right, binding. So, put that over here. Let's go through the rest of his card. And his backstory. When the Great War ended, Dexter went from being a soldier to a stage magician. His charm and unparalleled skills quickly drew praise from around the world. As he toured the exotic corners of the world, he amassed a collection of genuine occult knowledge. Soon Drake became as much a master of real magic as he was of staged illusions. Eventually, his arcane studies revealed a dark power that is growing in strength. Now in Tokyo, Drake spends his nights performing and his days stopping the end of the world. Good old Drakey. Right, so that's Dexter. he's all set up. He's got his arcane assistant and he's got his binding spell. And he's ready to start kicking ass like everybody else. First player token, our mini Cthulhu. Let's put that on Michael McGlenn. And we are pretty much ready to rock and roll. How did the introduction and setup go? Alright, apart from picking that bloody spawn of Hastur. I'm not sure that is the best sort of start we could have had. It sounds a real pig to get rid of as well. Gonna have to have a look if there's any way we can reduce. If we can't take more than 1 health, you know, off it each time we attack, then hopefully there's something else we can do to sort of reduce its health or its toughness, because that 6 turns to kill it, bloody hell. Right, I don't fancy sending 2 investigators there either to do it. Tying up 2 investigators, I suppose we might have to do that. Any ideas on that? Please let me know. But other than drawing that as our first mystery, it's much of a muchness really, isn't it? We just get on with it. I don't think I'll be taking any blights, to be honest, to stop gates. So I think we're going to have at least one person like try to close gates like mad. When I unboxed it, I had a quick look at the blights. None of them are nice. They're all horrific. They're right up there with like agreement conditions and dart packs. So very nasty indeed. So we'll have to play it by ear. But other than that, you know, it's quite an interesting group of investigators. I'm looking forward to playing those. I have played some in Arkham Horror, as you know, but they're an interesting bunch. And I must admit, I do like Dexter and Jenny, and Michael McGlenn just reminds me of Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Cagney, so he'll be cool. And little old Wendy. Who doesn't like Wendy? She's amazing. Righty-ho. So that's it. Now, it's going to be a while before turn 1, because I am going on holiday, vacation, en vacances, whatever you call it, from whatever part of the world you're in. So I'll be spending 2 weeks in sunny Portugal. So, but I will be back. It'll all be set up and it'll all be ready to go in a couple of weeks' time. So in that couple of weeks' time, if anybody has a really good idea of how to get rid of the spawn of Hastur, I'd be extremely grateful. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the introduction. I hope you enjoyed the setup. And thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for all the subscriptions, for all the comments, for any suggestions about the spawn of Hastur, and for all your support. Thank you very much. And also, anybody who's gone across the board game links to upvote the site, thanks again. Thank you very much. Righty-ho. So, yes, that's it. So, I hope that I will see you in 2 weeks for turn 1 of Eldritch Horror Hastur. Until then, this is me, Catweazle, saying toodaloo.